Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei said on Thursday his country had delivered a hand slap to America's face and warned against any further U.S. attacks in his first public comments since a ceasefire was declared with Israel. According to Associated Press, Khamenei spoke in a video broadcast on Iranian state television, his first appearance since June 19, looking and sounding more tired than he did only a week ago. He told viewers that the U.S. had only intervened in the war because it felt that if it did not intervene, the Zionist regime would be utterly destroyed. But he said that the U.S. achieved no gains from this war. The Islamic Republic was victorious and, in retaliation, delivered a hand slap to America's face, he said, in apparent reference to an Iranian missile attack on an American base in nearby Qatar on Monday, which caused no casualties. Khamenei warned that such an action can be repeated in the future, too, saying that Iran has access to key U.S. centers in the region and can take action whenever it deems necessary. Should any aggression occur, the enemy will definitely pay a heavy price, he said. The 86-year-old Khamenei hasn't been seen in public since taking shelter in a secret location after the outbreak of the war June 13 when Israel attacked Iranian nuclear facilities and targeted top military commanders and scientists. Following an American attack on June 22 that hit the nuclear sites with bunker-buster bombs, U.S. President Donald Trump was able to help negotiate a ceasefire that came into effect on Tuesday. In his appearance on Thursday, he sat in front of plain brown curtains to give his address, similar to his June 19th message.
چند تبریک به ملت عرض می‌کنم. یکی تبریک پیروزی بر رژیم جعلی صهیونی است. با اون همه هیاهو، با اون همه ادعا، رژیم صهیونی در زیر ضربات جمهوری اسلامی تقریباً از پا در آمد و له شد. رژیم آمریکا وارد جنگ مستقیم شد چون احساس کرد که اگر وارد نشود رژیم صهیونیستی به کلی نابود خواهد شد. به مراکز هسته‌ای ما حمله کردند که البته این در قره پیگیری جزایی در دادگاه‌های بین‌المللی است به طور مستقل، اما نتوانستن کار مهمی انجام بدن. رئیس جمهور آمریکا در شرح اون چی که واقع شده بود بزرگ نمایی غیر متعارفی کرد. معلوم شد که به این بزرگ نمایی احتیاج داره. جمهوری اسلامی سیلی سختی به گونه آمریکا نواخت. به یکی از پایگاه‌های مهم آمریکا در منطقه، پایگاه العدید، حمله کرد و خساراتی وارد کرد. اینی که جمهوری اسلامی دسترسی داشته باشه به مراکز مهم آمریکا در منطقه و علیه اونها هر وقت مقتضی دانست اقدام بکنه، این حادثه کوچکی نیست، حادثه بزرگی است. در آینده هم این حادثه قابل تکرار است در صورتی که تعرضی صورت بگیره. هزینه دشمن، هزینه متعرض قطعاً بالایی خواهد بود. رئیس جمهور آمریکا در یکی از بیاناتش و اظهاراتش گفت ایران باید تسلیم بشود. تسلیم بشه. بحث غنیسازی دیگه نیست، بحث صنعت هسته‌ای نیست، بحث تسلیم ایران است. خب البته این حرف برای دهان رئیس جمهور آمریکا خیلی بزرگه. چنین اتفاقی هم هرگز نخواهد افتاد. هرگز نخواهد افتاد. ملت ایران ملت بزرگی است. ایران کشور قوی و پهناوری است. ایران دارای تمدن کهنی است. اینی که ایران به کسی توقع کنه که تسلیم کشور دیگری بشه، این یکی از اون مهملگویی های غلطی است که یقینا مایه استهزاء افراد خردمند و افراد دانا واقع خواهد شد.
Real changes in the Kremlin's policy towards Ukraine, real prospects for peace will arise only when Russian dictator Vladimir Putin loses his sense of complete impunity. A serious foreign policy or domestic shock is needed to radically change the situation. Such an event could be, for example, the fall of the Iranian Ayatollah regime. If the collapse of a theocratic dictatorship, which was recently considered stable, occurs, it will become a precedent and a symbol for other authoritarian leaders, including Putin, when the same tough signals are sent to Moscow as are being sent to Tehran. For example, US President Donald Trump's statements that the US knows the whereabouts of Ayatollah Khamenei at any moment. This could change the Kremlin's behavior. For now, the Kremlin dictator continues to insist on Ukraine's surrender, the only way to consider the numerous demands made by Moscow in negotiations with Ukraine. This opinion was expressed by Russian oppositionist Olga Kurnosova. She says that as long as Putin is at the helm in Russia, it is not worth waiting for the end of this war, at least while he is confident in himself. It is definitely not worth it. Something very serious has to happen. For example, he has to run out of money to fight this war, or he has to see the Ayatollah regime fall and understand that such things are possible. So far, it's clear that he's been climbing everywhere to pretend to be a peacemaker in Iran. But listen, you're waging a war by attacking Ukraine, and you're telling me what kind of peacemaker you are? Are you out of your mind? When he sees that situations can be resolved completely differently. As Trump said, the state knows where Ayatollah Khamenei is at every moment. When the same words are said to Putin, and when he understands that there are means that can destroy him at any moment, perhaps then he will be more accommodating, she added. Putin's main goal is definitely not 4 regions of Ukraine plus Crimea, and not even all of Ukraine, which he still wants to have under control. Putin's main goal is to gain greater control over at least all the republics of the former Soviet Union. It is no coincidence that so much attention is now being paid to Moldova, and in the long term, to control the countries of the former socialist bloc, the countries of Eastern Europe. Yes, it may be a direct military presence, but we see the number of agents that are now being deployed in Europe, and we see that Putin's Russia continues to destabilize the situation in Europe. Therefore, as long as Putin remains in power, no one will be able to live peacefully, not only Ukraine, but also other European countries, she told